Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mr. English Podcast. I'm Emma, and today we are talking about something that I think every single person listening right now has felt at some point. That feeling when you know the words, you know exactly what you want to say, but you open your mouth and nothing comes out.
That silence. Horrible silence. Hey everyone, I'm James. And honestly, I know that feeling better than I'd like to admit.
Today, we are not talking about grammar. We are not talking about vocabulary. We are talking about confidence, speaking confidence. Because here is the truth. Most English learners don't need more English. They already know enough. What they need is the courage to use it.
And today, we're going to share our own stories, the moments we felt that fear, and exactly what helped us move through it. This one is personal. Let's go.
Welcome. So glad you're here. This is Mr. English Podcast, where we have real conversations about real things. Today's conversation is for every learner who has ever felt too scared to speak, which is all of us. You are in exactly the right place.
Okay, Emma, you go first. Tell them your story.
Okay, so a few years ago, I had a job interview. It was an important one, a company I really wanted to work for. I prepared for weeks, I practiced my answers, I knew my subject. I felt ready.
That sounds like really solid preparation. What happened?
I walked into the room. 2 interviewers sat across from me. One of them smiled and said, "So, Emma, tell us a little about yourself." And I froze, completely froze. I knew every word of my answer. I had practiced it 100 times. But in that moment, nothing came out.
Oh no, that is the worst feeling. What did you do?
I sat there for what felt like forever. It was probably 4 seconds. And then I said, "I'm sorry. Can I start again?" And they said yes. And I did. And actually, the rest of the interview went quite well.
Brilliant. So you recovered.
I recovered. But I didn't get the job. And for a long time, I told myself it was because my English wasn't good enough. But that wasn't true at all. My English was fine. It was my confidence that let me down.
That is such an honest thing to say. And friends, I think so many of you listening know exactly what Emma means. It is not always about the words. It is about the fear that comes before the words.
Okay, James, your turn. You said you know this feeling too.
Oh, absolutely. Mine was different from Emma's, but equally frustrating. For about 2 years, I worked in an office where most meetings were in English, and I knew the answers. I understood everything being discussed, but I never spoke. Not once.
2 years? Not once?
Not meaningfully. I would nod. I would write notes. Once I said, "Yes, I agree," and that was my big moment. Meanwhile, other people who I knew had less knowledge than me on the topic spoke confidently and got noticed.
Oh, that is so frustrating. You had the answer and you stayed silent.
Every single time. Because I was afraid my English wouldn't sound perfect. I was afraid people would think I was stupid. And so I said nothing. And the irony is, saying nothing made me invisible, which was so much worse than saying something imperfect.
Oh, everyone, pause for a second. What James just described, saying nothing made me invisible, that is one of the most important things we will say today. The fear of speaking English is not protecting you. It is actually stopping you from being seen.
Exactly that. And the day I finally understood that, everything started to change.
So what changed it for you, James?
One morning, before a big meeting, I stood in front of my bathroom mirror and I just talked out loud to myself about the topic we were going to discuss for 10 minutes, and something shifted. I heard my own voice saying real things in English, and it didn't sound as bad as I feared.
That mirror practice. It sounds so simple, but it genuinely works. You're removing all the pressure. No audience, no judgment, just your voice and your words.
And that same week, I called a friend, someone I trusted, and I told them I wanted to practice English conversation. Just with them, just casually. And they said yes immediately. We talked for 30 minutes, and for the first time in years, I actually felt like a speaker. Not a listener, a speaker.
That is a beautiful turning point. And friends, did you notice? 2 things: a mirror and one trusted friend. That is all it took to start. Not a course, not a textbook, just a mirror and a friend.
So the funny thing is, even now when I talk about that period, I sometimes still feel a little of that old nervousness. Like earlier, I almost said I feeled scared in those meetings.
Wait, field? Does that sound right?
No, of course not. Feel is irregular. The past is felt. I felt scared, not feeled.
Exactly. And friends, this is so important. Even James, who teaches English, catches irregular verb mistakes when he speaks naturally. This is completely normal. Native speakers self-correct all the time. The difference between a confident speaker and a nervous one is not that confident speakers make no mistakes. It is that they correct and continue. They don't stop. They don't apologize for 5 minutes. They just move forward.
Correct and continue. That is the whole secret.
Let's talk about the 3 most common mistakes English learners make when it comes to confidence. Not grammar mistakes, confidence mistakes.
Confidence mistake number 1: waiting until your English is perfect before you speak. Wrong thinking: I'll speak when my English is better. Right thinking: my English gets better when I speak. Waiting for perfection is the longest wait of your life. It never comes. The speaking itself is what builds the English, not the other way around.
Friends, have you ever said, "I'll try when I'm ready"? That feeling is completely natural. But readiness comes from doing, not from waiting.
Confidence mistake number 2: apologizing before you even speak. Wrong? Sorry, my English is not very good, but. Correct? Just say what you want to say. Start speaking. The apology before you speak tells your brain you have already failed. It also tells your listener to expect something bad. Remove the apology. Start with the sentence. Confidence mistake number 3: thinking one mistake means you failed. Wrong thinking? I made a mistake. Everyone noticed. I can't do this. Right thinking? I made a mistake. I corrected it. I kept going. James said it perfectly. Correct and continue. One mistake in a conversation is like one bump on a long road. You don't stop the car. You keep driving.
And honestly, most listeners don't even notice the mistakes you think are catastrophic. They are focused on what you were saying, not on how perfectly you were saying it.
Okay, 2 practical things. Simple, free, and they actually work. The first one, the mirror.
Every morning, or anytime, stand in front of a mirror and talk in English. About anything. Your plans for the day, how you slept, what you want to eat. Just talk. Out loud. To yourself. Start with 2 minutes. Build up to 10.
Short version of what to say to yourself. Today, I woke up early. I'm going to have coffee and then go for a walk. I'm feeling good today. Longer version when you're more comfortable. So this morning, I woke up a little later than usual. I had a quiet breakfast, and now I'm thinking about what I want to do with my day. I'd love to go outside if the weather stays nice. I've been feeling much more relaxed this week, and I think the morning routine is helping.
The second thing, find one friend. Just one. Someone you trust. Tell them you want to practice English with them. Talk for 15 minutes a week. That is all. One friend, 15 minutes. It will change everything.
Friends. Which one will you try first? The mirror or the friend? Tell us in the comments below. We genuinely want to know. And if you try the mirror practice this week, come back and tell us how it felt.